Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Om Stapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate, who came to establish religion universal. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Today's topic I have chosen, Vanity Kills Spirituality. A person who wants to go in spiritual path must clearly know what are the qualities he should cultivate and what are the qualities should be taken out. So, the Mahatmas have very emphatically taught us that vanity also is one of the great obstacles in spiritual path. There was a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Surendra, a lay disciple. He invited Sri Ramakrishna to his home on the auspicious occasion of the Annapurna worship. It was about 6 o'clock when Sri Ramakrishna arrived there with some of the devotees. The image of the Divine Mother had been installed in the worship hall. At her feet lay hibiscus flowers and bilva leaves. From her neck hung a garland of flowers. Sri Ramakrishna entered the hall and bowed down before the image. Then he went to the open courtyard, where he sat on a carpet surrounded by his devotees and disciples. A few bolsters lay on the carpet, which was covered with a white linen sheet. Sri Ramakrishna was asked to lean against one of these, but Sri Ramakrishna pushed it aside. Then he makes a remark, to lean against a bolster. You see, it is very difficult to give up vanity. You may discriminate, saying that the ego is nothing at all, but still it comes. Nobody knows from where. A goat's legs jerk for a few moments even after its head has been cut off. Or perhaps you are frightened in a dream. You shake off sleep and are wide awake, but still you feel your heart palpitating. Egotism is exactly like that. You may drive it away, but still it appears from somewhere. Then you look sullen and say, what? I have not been shown proper respect. It's very common. People making this way of talking. The egoism shows in different ways. Of course, in the worldly way of life, it is quite prominent and everybody knows it. But the so-called spiritual beings also sometimes become victims of this nasty ego. Kedar said, one should be lowlier than a straw and patient as a tree. Sri Ramakrishna replied, look, as for me, I consider myself as a speck of the dust of the devotee's feet. You can imagine to what extent Sri Ramakrishna was humble, totally free from even the shadow of ego. Sri Ramakrishna has said, God has covered all with his Maya. He doesn't let us know anything. What is Maya? It is lust and gold. He who puts Maya aside to see God can see him. Once I was explaining God's actions to someone. God suddenly showed me the lake at Kamarpukur. I saw a man removing the green scum and drinking the water. The water was clear as crystal. God revealed to me that Satchidananda is covered by the scum of Maya. He who puts the green scum aside can drink the water. Let me tell you a very secret experience. Sri Ramakrishna said, once I had entered the wood near the pine grove and was sitting there, when I had a vision of something like the hidden door of a chamber. I couldn't see the inside of the chamber. I tried to bore a hole in the door with a nail knife, but didn't succeed. As I bored, the earth fell back into the hole and filled it. Then suddenly I made a very big opening. Uttering these words, the master remained silent. After a time he said, these are very profound words. I feel as if someone were pressing my mouth. I have seen with my own eyes that God dwells even in the sexual organ. I saw him once in the sexual intercourse of a dog and a bitch. The universe is conscious on account of the consciousness of God. Sometimes I find that this consciousness wriggles about, as it were, even in a small fish. The carriage came to the crossing at Shava Bazaar in Calcutta. The master continued saying, sometimes I find that the universe is saturated with the consciousness of God, as the earth is soaked with water in a rainy season. Well, I see so many visions, but I never feel vain about them. That's the important point. If you have got little skill, little talent, we become highly proud of it. Yam said with a smile, Master, that you should speak of vanity? Master said, upon my word, I don't feel vanity even in the slightest degree. Master Maharshi said, there once lived a man in Greece, Socrates by name. A voice from heaven said that he was wise among men. Socrates was amazed at this revelation. He meditated on it a long time in solitude and then realized its significance. He said to his friends, I alone of all people have understood that I do not know anything. But every man believes he is wise. In reality, all are ignorant. Master said, now and then I think, what is it I know that makes so many people come to me? Vaishnavacharan was a great Pandit. He used to say to me, I can find in the scriptures all the things you talk about. But do you know why I come to you? I come to hear them from your mouth. Master Maharshi said, all your words tally with the scriptures. Navadvip Goswami also said that the other day at the festival of Panihati, you told us that day that by repeating the word Gita a number of times, one reverses it and it becomes Tyagi, which refers to renunciation. Renunciation is the essence of the Gita. Navadvip Goswami supported your statement from the grammatical standpoint. Master said, he asked, have you found anyone else resembling me, any Pandit or holy man? M said, God has created you with his own hands, whereas he has made others by machine. All others he has created according to law. Master, laughing, said, listen to what he is saying. Sri Ramakrishna laughed for some time and said at last, really and truly, I have no pride. No, not even the slightest bit. M said, knowledge does us good in one respect at least. It makes us feel that we do not know anything, that we are nothing. Master said, right you are. I am nothing. I am nobody. To the subject, Sri Ramakrishna said, let me ask you one thing. Are vanity and egotism the result of knowledge or of ignorance? Egotism is of the nature of tamas. It is begotten by ignorance. On account of the barrier of ego, one does not see God. All troubles come to an end when the ego dies. It is futile to be egoistic. Neither body nor wealth will last. Once a drunkard was looking at the image of Durga. At the sight of her decorations, he said, well, mother, however you may fix yourself up, after 2 or 3 days, they will drag you out and throw you into the Ganges. All laugh. So I say to you all, you may be a judge or anybody else, but all for 2 days only. Therefore, you should give up vanity and pride. Do you know my attitude? Sri Ramakrishna said, as for myself, I eat, drink and live happily. The rest, the Divine Mother knows. Indeed, there are 3 words that prick me, that prick my flesh. 3 words, Guru, Master and Father. There is only one Guru, and that is Chidananda. He alone is the teacher. My attitude toward God is that of a child towards his mother. One can get human gurus by the million. All want to be teachers. But who cares to be a disciple? It is extremely difficult to teach others. A man can teach only if God reveals himself to him and gives the command. Narad, Sukadev and sages like them had such a command from God. And Shankara had it too. Unless you have a command from God, who will listen to your words? Don't you know how easily the people of Calcutta get excited? The milk in the kettle puffs up and boils as long as the fire burns underneath. Take away the fuel and all becomes quiet. The people of Calcutta love sensations. You may see them digging a well at a certain place. They say they want water. But if they strike a stone, they give up that place, they begin at another place. And there perchance they find sand, they give up this sand, they give up this second place too, next they begin at a third. And so it goes. But it won't do if a man only imagines that he has God's command. God does reveal himself to man and speak. Only then may one receive his command. How forceful are the words of such a teacher? They can move mountains. But mere lectures, people will listen to them for a few days and then forget them. They will never act upon mere words. At Kamarpakur, there is a small lake called the Haladharpakur. Certain people used to befoul its banks every day. Others came there in the morning to bathe, would abuse the offenders loudly. But next morning they would find the same thing. The nuisance didn't stop. Everybody left. The villagers finally informed the authorities about it. A constable was sent who would put up a notice on the bank which read, "Commit no nuisance." This stopped the miscreants at once. All love. To teach others, one must have a badge of authority, otherwise teaching becomes a mockery. A man who is himself ignorant starts out to teach others like the blind teaching the blind. Instead of doing good, such teachings does harm. After the realization of God, one obtains an inner vision. Only then can one diagnose a person's spiritual malady and give instruction. Without the commission from God, man becomes vain. He says to himself, "I am teaching people." This vanity comes from ignorance. For only an ignorant person feels that he is the doer. A man verily becomes liberated in life if he feels God is the doer. He alone is doing everything. I am doing nothing. Man's sufferings and worries spring only from his persistent thought that he is the doer. Sri Ramakrishna said, "Once I visited Devendranath Tagore with Madhur Babu. I said to Madhur, I have heard that Devendranath Tagore thinks of God. I should like to see him." "All right," said Mathur, "I will take you to him. We were fellow students in the Hindu college and I am very friendly with him." We went to Devendra's house. Mathur and Devendra had not seen each other for a long time. Devendra said to Mathur, "You have changed a little. You have grown fat around the stomach." Mathur said, referring to me, "He has come to see you. He is always mad about God." I wanted to see Devendra's physical marks and said to him, "Let me see your body." He pulled up his shirt and I found that he had very fair skin, tinted red. His hair had not yet turned grey. At the outset I noticed a little vanity in Devendra. And is it not natural? He had such wealth, such scholarship, such name and fame. Noticing that streak of vanity, I asked Mathur, "Well, is vanity the outcome of knowledge or ignorance? Can a knower of Brahman have such a feeling as I am a scholar, I am a jnani, I am rich?" While I was talking to Devendra, I suddenly got into that state of mind in which I can see a man as he really is. I was convulsed with laughter inside. In that state I regard scholars and the book learned as mere straw. If I see that a scholar has no discrimination and renunciation, I regard him as worthless straw. I see that he is like a vulture which soars high but fixes its look on a charnel pit down below. I found that Devendra had combined both yoga and bhoga in his life. He had a number of children, all young. The family physician was there. Thus, you see, though he was a jnani, yet he was preoccupied with worldly life. I said to him, You are the King Janaka of this Kali Yuga, holding to one as well as the other. He drank his milk from a brimming cup. A musician was there. He asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, what's the way to realize God? Sri Ramakrishna said, Bhakti is the one essential thing. To be sure, God exists in all beings. Who then is a devotee? He whose mind dwells on God. But this is not possible as long as one has egotism and vanity. The water of God's grace cannot collect on the high mount of egotism. It runs down. I am a mere machine. Bankim asked Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, why don't you preach? Master said smilingly, Preaching? It's only a man's vanity that makes him think of preaching. A man is but an insignificant creature. It is God alone who will preach God, who has created the sun and moon and so illumined the universe. Is preaching such a trifling affair? You cannot preach unless God reveals himself to you and gives you the command to preach. Of course, no one can stop you from preaching. You haven't received the command, but still you cry yourself hoarse. People will listen to you a couple of days and then forget all about it. It is like any other sensation. As long as you speak, people will say, he speaks well. And the moment you stop, everything will disappear. The milk in the pot hisses and swells as long as there is heat under it. Take away the heat, and the milk will quiet down as before. One must increase one's strength by sadhana. Otherwise, one cannot preach. As the proverb goes, you have no room to sleep yourself and you invite a friend to sleep with you. There is no place for you to lie down and you say, Come, friend, come and lie down with me. All laugh. Some people used to befoul the bank of the Hardarpukur at Kamarpukur every morning. Anyway, that nuisance was stopped by a police constable when he put the sign there. Likewise, if God reveals himself to you and gives you the command, then you can preach and teach people. Otherwise, nobody will listen to you. Oh, how vanity turns a person's head. Sri Ramakrishna says, there was a scavenger woman in the temple garden at Dakshineshwar, and her pride, and all because of a few ornaments. She had few ornaments, so she had become full of pride. One day few men were passing her on the path, and she shouted to them, Hey, get out of the way, you people. If a scavenger woman could talk that way, what can one say about the vanity of others? The Pandit from Sinti is very good. He holds a title for his scholarship. He respects me. I said to him, You have read a great deal, but give up the vanity that you are a scholar. That made him very happy. I discussed Vedanta with him. Master said to Bankim, Charity? Doing good? How dare you say you can do good to others? Man struts about so much. But if one pours foul water into his mouth when he is asleep, he doesn't even know it. His mouth overflows with it. Where are his boasting, his vanity, his pride then? From sayings of Sri Ramakrishna, this subject vanity is discussed. Water is dried up at once if poured on a heap of ashes. Vanity is like this heap of ashes. Prayer and contemplation produce no effect upon the heart puffed up with vanity. Be as devoid of vanity as a castaway leaf carried by the wind. The steward of a certain rich man was left in charge of his master's property. When asked by someone as to whose property it was, he used to say, Sir, This is all my property. These houses and these gardens are all mine. He would speak in this strain and go about with an air of vanity. One day, he happened to catch fish in a pond of the master's garden house in contravention of his strict prohibition. As ill luck would have it, the master came upon the scene just then and saw what his dishonest steward was doing. Finding out the faithlessness of his servant, the master at once drove him away from his estate, disgraced and dishonored, and confiscated all his past earnings. The poor fellow could not take with him even his rickety box of utensils, which was his sole private property. Such is the punishment that overtakes false pride. There is another famous story. Once Narad became proud of his devotion. Srimad Narayan didn't tolerate that. Why? My devotee is entertaining pride in his heart. So he called him. Go and see a rustic fellow. Go to his home in the countryside. See his devotion, how great his devotion. And report me back. Narad was surprised. Well, still he was proud, that he was a great devotee of Narayan. So he went to the countryside and saw this particular farmer, and he observed him, what he was doing whole day, how many times he remembered God. To his surprise, he saw morning when he woke up from the bed, before going to work, he would repeat once God's name. Then he would go and work in the field, come back in the evening. Before going to sleep in the night, after dinner everything, he would utter once more. Then went to bed. That means the whole day, 24 hours, he is just repeating 2 times. Why God sent me to observe this man? What greatness is there in his devotion? He is just repeating only 2 times. Then he came back to Vishnu, reported the matter. Then Vishnu said, look, I give you this cup of oil full to the brim. Make round the city and come back to me. But see, not a single drop to spill out. Narad took that cup on his head and began to make a round of the city. He strictly followed the condition of Lord Vishnu and came back, and he said he has done. And then Lord Vishnu asked him, well, you were moving around the city. How many times did you repeat my name? How many times did you think of me? Tell me. Master, how is it possible to think you have given such a task and condition? Not a drop of the oil should spill out. So my whole mind was focused on that. I couldn't really remember. Then Lord said, well, see that farmer, in spite of his family life and hard work in the field, with all that, he could repeat 2 times, once in the morning and once in the evening. Hey, don't you think it is great? When Vishnu said like this, he realized his pride inside and he was humbled. So, that's the way. And people simply become proud. What's the use of this pride? 100 years from now, your body shall be lying, rotting in a grave with the worms. And it is likely that 99.9999% of the world's population will not even know or care that you ever lived. And you are boasting all the time. People of today are like voyagers on an ocean cruise who are busy partying, decorating their cabins, playing shuffleboard and planning future trips, when all the while the ocean liner is slowly sinking. Nothing is forever except God. Your bad moods shall pass, and your difficult circumstances shall one day cease. Everything shall perish in the end. Only God shall remain. What you have worried over shall be no more. Only that which is rooted in God shall persist. The universe is God's farm, and the people of the world are all seeds of sorts, soon by God to ripen when the time is right. So, there are many challenges you must face. If any are neglected, growth will be distorted. Love God above all else. Love others as yourself. Work hard using your talents for good. Accept sufferings when they come and learn from them. Never feel proud, never boast. Everything is to be carried out with utmost humbleness and devotion. Cultivate love of God. The more you truly develop love, you become less and less proud. So, one has to be really careful in spiritual way. If you want to maintain spirituality, you must never allow vanity to raise its ugly head. Because vanity kills spirituality. It makes you hopeless than the worldly man. We are coming to the last chapter in the Gospel. Narendra said, "What can you understand about love? You belong to the servant class. All of you must serve me and massage my feet. Don't flatter yourselves by thinking you have understood everything. Now go and prepare a smoke for me." Narendra was telling to his brothers. All laughed. The brothers answered. One of the brothers answered, "I surely will not." Yam said to himself, Sri Ramakrishna has transmitted metal to all the brothers of the Math. It is no monopoly of Narendra's. Is it possible to renounce lust and gold without this inner fire? It was Tuesday, a very auspicious day for the worship of the Divine Mother. Arrangements were being made for her special worship at the monastery. Yam was going to the Ganges to take his bath. Ravindra was walking alone on the roof. He heard Narendra singing the 6 stanzas of Nirvana. Ravindra went to the Ganges to take his bath. Presently he returned to the monastery clad in his wet cloth. Narendra said to Yam in a whisper, "He has bathed in the Ganges. It will be good to initiate him now into sannyas." Both Narendra and Yam smiled. Prasanna asked Ravindra to change his wet cloth and gave him a dry Gerva cloth. Narendra said to Yam, "Now he is going to put on the cloth of renunciation." Yam with a smile, "What kind of renunciation?" Narendra. Why? The renunciation of lust and gold. Rabindra put on the vocal cloth and entered Kali Tapasvi's room to meditate. Next is appendix with Keshapat Dakshineshwar. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. Our name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, down deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for very selves. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth retinue. The playthings of lust are the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, but thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be freed from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding thee of all sacred works, be satisfied, for he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased, he being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.